Welcome to Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner. Before we dive deep into today's emotional and highly relatable story, please do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this post, turn on the notification bell, and share this with your friends because trust me, this is one story you do not want to scroll past. We are about to take a wild, detailed ride through the mind, life, and experiences of Maurice Sam as he attempts to escape the pressures of the past year. Buckle up, this is going to be long, dramatic, and filled with moments you feel deep down in your bones. Maurice Sam, one of the most talked about figures in recent Nollywood circles, has had a year that can only be described as rollercoaster level stressful. From the public scrutiny of his relationships to business ventures teetering on the edge, social media storms that he barely escaped without being dragged into controversy, and personal family matters, Maurice's life has felt like a pressure cooker. It seems the universe decided 2025 would be the year to test him, push his limits, and watch him sweat under the glare of constant attention. So, when the opportunity arose for him to take a break, to leave Lagos and just breathe, Cape Town became the perfect escape. Maurice didn't just hop on a plane. This wasn't a casual vacation, this was an intentional retreat. Those who know him closely reveal that by the time he booked the flight, he was exhausted, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. He needed a place where the air felt different, where the ocean could remind him of life beyond the constant social media posts, endless rumors, and high-stakes business meetings. Cape Town offered all of that, the mountains, the beach, and a pace that made it possible to reconnect with himself. Arriving in Cape Town, Maurice was immediately taken in by the city's unique energy. He started with a stay at one of the exclusive hotels along the coastline, where the ocean was just a few steps away. For Maurice, the view alone was therapeutic, the waves rolling in rhythmically, the seagulls flying freely, and the scent of the sea mingling with the crisp mountain air. Every morning, he would wake up early just to witness the sunrise over Table Mountain, a view he admitted on Instagram in one of his rare, relaxed posts, captioning it, "Sometimes the world slows down when you let it. Here's to breathing." But Maurice wasn't in Cape Town merely to post picturesque photos online. This was a full-fledged personal retreat. He started exploring activities that forced him out of his comfort zone in the best way possible. Hiking Table Mountain became a daily routine. Maurice would often be seen alone, taking in the silence of the trails, reflecting on the chaotic past year. The hike wasn't just physical, it was symbolic, representing his desire to overcome the emotional mountains he'd faced. Friends close to him revealed that he spoke a lot about his plans for the next year, not just in terms of career, but personal growth. He wanted to be calmer, more focused, and more selective about the energy he allowed into his life. Cape Town's beaches also became Maurice's sanctuary. While many visitors flocked to the more touristy spots, Maurice sought out quieter corners, sometimes spending hours simply watching the waves, walking barefoot on the sand, or listening to music that transported him far away from everything he left behind. There were moments when fans spotted him taking selfies, but these were few and far between. Unlike Lagos, where every outing could quickly turn viral, Cape Town allowed him to reclaim a piece of anonymity, and that was something he cherished deeply. Food, too, became a form of therapy. Maurice, known for his love of trying new things, made it a point to explore Cape Town's diverse culinary scene. From sampling local seafood delicacies like snook and kingklip to indulging in traditional Cape Malay dishes bursting with spices and flavors he had never tasted before, each meal became a celebration of self-care. Maurice even shared some pictures of him enjoying street food at the vibrant Bokap market, his captions revealing a side rarely seen, the man who could enjoy life simply, without pretense. Maurice's retreat wasn't without its moments of introspection. The trip forced him to face his anxieties, mistakes, and even the gossip that often haunted him in Nigeria. He spent time journaling in small cafes overlooking the ocean, reflecting on what mattered, what didn't, and what he needed to change moving forward. Close friends revealed that he had begun crafting strategies for his professional ventures, but this time, with more caution, less haste, and a renewed focus on mental wellness. One of the most talked about parts of Maurice's Cape Town adventure was his interaction with nature. Apart from the mountains and beaches, he made sure to explore nearby vineyards and wine estates, indulging in wine-tasting sessions that were as educational as they were relaxing. Each sip, each conversation with the winemakers, became a metaphor for the life Maurice wanted to build, rich, deep, and carefully curated. This was a man learning patience, savoring life, and most importantly, recharging after the emotional battles of the year. Interestingly, Maurice didn't fully isolate himself. While the trip was largely personal, he did meet with a few acquaintances in Cape Town who helped him see perspectives outside the Nollywood and Lagos-centric lens he had been living under. These interactions reminded him that life was bigger than any scandal, business deal, or relationship drama back home. They encouraged him to think about his mental and emotional health in ways he hadn't prioritized before. Social media, which had been both a blessing and a curse for him, was treated differently during this retreat. Maurice posted sporadically, but the tone was calmer, more reflective, almost philosophical at times. Fans noticed the difference immediately. There were no dramatic statements, no teases, no breaking news posts. Instead, there were snapshots of sunsets, mountains, food, and quiet moments, all subtly sending a message: I am okay, and I am healing. Of course, news of Maurice's trip didn't stay under the radar for long. Nigerian media and fans were quick to react, creating buzz around why he chose Cape Town, what he might be running away from, and whether this was a sign of bigger changes in his life. Some speculated about personal relationships, others about professional stress, but Maurice remained unbothered. In interviews with a few lifestyle publications, he emphasized that this trip was about self-discovery, not about proving a point or escaping reality. Another key element of Maurice's Cape Town retreat was adventure. Known for his love of adrenaline, he booked activities like paragliding, deep-sea diving, and even a helicopter tour over the city and its surrounding landscapes. These experiences were not only thrilling but also symbolic. Each adventure was a step in reclaiming control over his life, reminding him that he could face fears, enjoy life, and rise above challenges all at once. Friends mentioned that after each activity, Maurice seemed lighter, more at peace, and ready to return home with a fresh perspective. Evenings in Cape Town were often contemplative. Maurice enjoyed quiet dinners at intimate restaurants with ocean views, or sometimes just a glass of wine on his balcony, gazing at the stars and listening to the distant hum of the city below. These moments became rituals, giving him time to breathe, reset, and think deeply about his next steps. It was clear to those close to him that this wasn't just a vacation, it was an essential step in recalibrating his life, mind, and heart after a taxing year. Cultural experiences were also a highlight. Maurice immersed himself in local art galleries, museums, and historical sites, learning about Cape Town's rich and complex history. He shared on social media snippets of these visits, captioning them with reflections about life, resilience, and the beauty of diversity. It was a side of him fans rarely saw: thoughtful, aware, and deeply curious about the world beyond Nigeria. While in Cape Town, Maurice also dedicated time to physical wellness. He visited local gyms, joined yoga sessions, and even took meditation classes. These activities, combined with his outdoor adventures, were instrumental in helping him manage stress, improve focus, and find a sense of inner calm. By the end of his trip, those who followed his journey closely noticed a change, a more grounded, composed, and visibly rejuvenated Maurice Sam. As the trip progressed, Maurice started sharing little lessons and insights with his fans, though in subtle, non-intrusive ways. He spoke about the importance of disconnecting from toxic energy, valuing solitude, and embracing personal growth. His posts were less about flaunting wealth or exotic locations and more about inspiring others to take mental health seriously, to find their own escapes, and to prioritize themselves in a world that constantly demands attention. The trip also allowed Maurice to reconnect with himself emotionally. Away from constant scrutiny, he processed past relationships, confrontations, and disappointments. Sources revealed that he had long conversations with himself, writing letters he didn't intend to send, revisiting old dreams, and letting go of lingering resentment. For someone as public as Maurice Sam, this type of introspection was revolutionary. It was a reminder that even public figures need private moments to heal. By the time Maurice's Cape Town trip was coming to a close, the transformation was undeniable. Friends who met him upon his return remarked on his calmer demeanor, clearer focus, and brighter outlook. Social media posts resumed, but with a noticeable difference: less urgency, more intention. Maurice had returned not just refreshed but redefined, ready to face 2026 with new strategies, renewed energy, and a deeper sense of self-awareness. The story of Maurice Sam's retreat to Cape Town is more than a tale of a celebrity vacationing abroad. It's a narrative about the necessity of mental and emotional breaks, about the courage it takes to step away from chaos, and about the importance of prioritizing oneself in a world that never stops demanding attention. His journey is relatable to anyone who has felt overwhelmed by work, relationships, or the sheer weight of life's expectations. It's proof that sometimes, the best way to move forward is to step back, breathe, and reconnect with the person you were meant to be. As we reflect on Maurice Sam's Cape Town experience, it's clear that this trip wasn't just about cooling his head, it was a transformative journey. From hiking mountains to tasting new cuisines, meditating by the sea, and engaging in thrilling adventures, Maurice found ways to restore his energy, gain perspective, and prepare for the challenges ahead. And in doing so, he set an example for everyone watching, that self-care, reflection, and adventure can coexist to create a life worth living. Maurice's Cape Town story also sends a subtle but important message about fame and public life. No matter how glamorous someone's life appears online, the pressures behind the scenes can be immense. Taking intentional breaks, creating space for personal growth, and seeking solace in unfamiliar environments are vital steps toward maintaining one's sanity and emotional stability. Maurice's approach was a mix of leisure, learning, and self-discovery, a reminder that mental health should never take a back seat, no matter how busy or successful one becomes. As he returns to Lagos, fans and critics alike are waiting to see the new Maurice. Will he approach his projects differently? Will relationships take on a more meaningful, deliberate path? Will the pressures of social media continue to affect him? Only time will tell. What's clear, though, is that Cape Town gave him a chance to recalibrate, a chance to remember who he is beyond the public eye, beyond the noise, and beyond the stress that weighed so heavily on him for months. In conclusion, Maurice Sam's Cape Town retreat serves as a vivid reminder of the importance of mental and emotional wellness. It shows that even high-profile figures need time to disconnect, reflect, and rejuvenate. Through nature, adventure, food, meditation, and quiet contemplation, Maurice rediscovered a sense of balance and perspective. His journey was a mix of luxury, simplicity, introspection, and excitement, an experience that leaves a lasting impression, both on him and those who followed along. Before we end this story, my people, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button, like this post, drop your comments below, and share this gist with your friends. Follow Maurice's journey if you want a blueprint for how to survive a stressful year and emerge stronger, calmer, and more focused. Cape Town wasn't just a getaway, it was a transformation, a reset, and an awakening. Stay tuned to Gist Dish TV because the next chapter in Maurice Sam's life promises to be just as dramatic, emotional, and inspiring as this retreat. And trust me, you do not want to miss it. Life, stress, fame, and personal growth, they all collide in the most unexpected ways, and Maurice is showing us how to navigate it with style, courage, and an unwavering commitment to oneself. This is Gist Dish TV, your ultimate gist corner, keeping you plugged into the hottest, most exclusive Nollywood stories, and giving you insight into the lives of the people who make headlines, not just for drama, but for their incredible journeys.